welcome to Tim's Take, where Tim gives his take on questions from the audience and current events. Let's get right into it. On Cockpit Counsel, we talk a lot about contract management software. What other tools are you thinking about to manage the other work that your legal team does?
So for me, I think about legal tech in two separate areas. There's legal tech that you use every day, and then there's project-based legal tech like an e-discovery solution, something like that. The e-discovery solutions that are out there are great. Same things with like data rooms and things like that. But what I really want and really think about as adding massive amounts of value to the legal team is a project management tool, right? Something that can help us. It's a centralized place where I can look at all of my open projects that my team is working on, understand where they are in each of those projects, understand largely how many are going on at once, and be able to visualize what projects I need the team to prioritize.
Got it. And why is project management the next place that you go after when you're thinking about outside of contracts?
So whether contracts or any of the other legal work, in order to be successful as an in-house legal function, you have to ensure consistency of delivery of legal services throughout your organization, right? If you can't do that, I feel like it's really hard to be a successful leader, right? And it's really hard to be a successful department that really does help move the business forward. And so what do I mean by consistency in delivery of the legal services? I think there's a couple of different things. There's number one, consistency in terms of like the way that we communicate with the business, right? As a legal team, there shouldn't be like any sort of forum shopping or like if I go to so and so, I get a different answer than so and so. Like every attorney should follow the same process for a particular type of matter, even though there are nuances around it. There should be a process and a framework by which the team performs their due diligence and lets the business know what's happening with the issues that are of import to the business. There's also consistency in the way that the team itself addresses those particular problems internally. So forget about communicating to the business stakeholders for a minute. How do we as a team manage, for example, let's say we do a ton of mergers and acquisitions. How do we manage that process, right? What are the important points that we get to, and how do we get to them, right? And that should be the same process that, person number 1, 2, and 3 on your legal teams follows, right? That's the way law firms do it, right? You're taught to do certain things a certain way, and your associates do it the same way, your partners do it the same way. Again, there's nuance, but being able to do that. And so when you think about project management software and providing that consistency, it also allows you to set frameworks so that if there are issues in the future, you can look back and say, like, this was a pretty novel issue and now it's kind of happened again. How do we handle it last time? Okay, do we want to essentially create a playbook for how we handle these things going forward? And just like you do with contracts, you have playbooks for what types of provisions you're going to actually fall back to or allow into your contract portfolio. It should be a similar way with a lot of the other repeatable work that you do. Is this is how we handle our intellectual property management, right? This is how we handle just general inquiries from the business and so on and so forth. But being able to have that repeatable process, that scalable process, even just for like, let's say someone goes on vacation,
right?
You're able to see it, right?
Right, definitely. And then where does data come into play?
That's a great question. Everywhere.
Okay.
Right. So you think about being able to provide the right data, I think is really important. And maybe I'll use an example. So there's obvious data, like how many projects do I have open at any given moment? What's the status of those projects? And like how long have the projects been in that status, right? So there's like some obvious data that is like, you want to be able to like know how much stuff you're working on and how long it takes your team. The really important stuff, though, I'll use an example, is let's say the CEO comes to you and you sell durable goods, right? And the CEO says, I want to sell our widget in Spain, okay? And you're like, all right, great. Now I have a lot of stuff to do. I got to go figure out like, what the supply chains are going to look like and get any contracts that we need to get our stuff actually physically there in Spain. Are there any like import-export restrictions? Are there any regulatory issues with our type of product? What are the disclaimers that need to be around that? Are there other intellectual property concerns? Because now we're going out of, maybe you're just a US based. Now you're going out of the US, you're going into the international markets. What does that do from an IP perspective? The CEO does not care that it took your legal team 90 hours or 100 hours to figure all that stuff out.
Right.
What the CEO wants to know is from the time the CEO says in that meeting, I want to go and sell our product in Spain, to the time that product is on the shelves in Spanish stores is 8 weeks.
Right.
Now that's meaningful data, right? Number of hours, okay, maybe that helps you like figure out managing your outside counsel. Great, like you should be able to do that anyway, right? But getting that actionable data from how long in real life terms does it take the legal, and should it take the legal team to do what they need to do to help push the business forward? That's where data is meaningful, and that's what project management software can produce for you.
Right. That's a great answer. Thanks for listening to Tim's Take, and if you want to hear more from Tim, check out Cockpit Counsel.